The two places I visited were Pearl Park and Todd Park. So A, share your observations by describing the space in a factual manner. So Todd Park, I was sitting at the park close to my house, closing my eyes and just listening. The first thing I heard was the wind. Secondly, I heard the leaves blowing in the trees and the rustle of the leaves on the pavement. I could hear the pine tree limbs hitting each other and the subtle sound of cars on Chicago Avenue going by. Not many cars because it was 5:45 p.m. and many people have already gone home, but there's a couple every few minutes. I hear airplanes passing over my head and people's car doors closing just barely because I live across the block from a grocery store. The other park, Pearl Park, I was sitting on the bench facing the Pearl Park building. I heard cars to begin with. This park is a couple blocks from the other park on Portland Avenue. Portland Avenue is Pearl Park and Chicago Avenue is Todd Park. With a lot of busier cars and such in the intersection close by. I hear tiny clicks from the streetlights coming on as the sun goes down, and I hear one lady walking her dog and the jingle of the collar from the dog. I hear the wind, and I hear the wind in the trees. I am close to a lake now, and I hear the birds flying by. I can also hear the swings moving ever so subtly because the wind is so strong and the creaks from the metal chains are going on. I hear two cars pull into the parking lot and park, but keep their cars on because I can still hear the engines running as they sit there. B, after describing the spaces, tell the viewer about the communication that might take place in the space. Talk about how the space might influence the interactions that take place there. There would most likely be a lot of similar communication happening in both spaces that I did. So at parks, you usually see parents talking to their children and to other parents about school activities, sports, and the news or so on. Parents talk about what's new, talk about the news on the TV or the pandemic going on. The children are probably yelling at each other to talk to their friends while staying 6 feet apart and going downstairs, telling their friends to come here. There's probably speak of teens and drama and teens and sports. Parents or guardians are most likely talking about work or bonding over similarities between their jobs and how the pandemic is affecting them, or even possibly activities that they have been doing with their kids during the pandemic. C, describe modifications you believe that have been made due to COVID-19 pandemic. Many parks have stayed open during the pandemic, but just a few have put caution tape around them due to nobody sanitizing the equipment once children use it. It is definitely a use at your own risk type of entertainment for children during the pandemic. I don't see any physical changes to either of the parks according to COVID-19 pandemic, but I am assuming that the swings are recommended to use every other to keep safe distances between each other and between each child. Wait times to use slides and monkey bars are probably extended to make sure the 6-foot rule stays in place even when using the same equipment. And D, include a video or photos of the space in the recording, which I have somewhere else.